next speaker is a man that is Ireland's strongest man, and maybe we should start off here with an arm wrestle between Sean O Brien and himself. But he's very involved in the health and fitness area, and through that I'm sure some of the big issues for maybe women more than men would be body image and so on, and that would be something I'm sure that James is very familiar with, so I'll hand you over to James.
Thanks guys for having me, Kathleen Reid, and thanks for inviting me over tonight. Actually, I'm retired Ireland's strongest man, so Sean would probably beat me now in arm wrestling. I give it a fair old crack. I used to remember I used to go on holidays every year, before COVID. When I was younger, I used to get scolded for arm wrestling anywhere I used to go. I hate arm wrestling, I absolutely detest it. But anytime you go to foreign, you be scolded. So I don't like arm wrestling, I have no arm wrestling tonight. I suppose guys, as I said there, I'm retired former Ireland's strongest man. I was the first Irish man in world's strongest man. I'm a normal fella from a place called Turlough in County Kenny. Brian Cody, you know it very well, famous hurling country out there. I'm 39 now, I'm actually 39 this year, yeah, so I suppose I'll give you a brief synopsis of my own story. I started, like Sean, my own parents separated when I was 12 years of age, which had a very detrimental effect on me at the time. I probably didn't realise it at the time, but looking back, it was very difficult. And I suppose when I was 13, 14, 15, Dad left. I was hurling in Turlough, and I wasn't a great hurler. I come from a famous hurling background. Fennelly is my name, so we come from great hurling stock. Unfortunately, I didn't have the same genes as some of my relations had, so I took up a different sport. When I was 16, I was scolded my father to join a gym. Like most young lads, I have dads ringing me every week now looking for their sons to join a gym. So I'm dealing with that now as an older man, but when I was young, I used to ask my dad non-stop, Dad, can we join a gym, can we join a gym? I was 16, I was a bit overweight, I was probably self-conscious, I was probably drinking a bit at the time. So we joined the gym in Kilkenny, the Talbot Hotel, I'll never forget. Dad paid big money for a membership for the whole family. And then I went for the first 2 or 3 days, and I didn't go then for 2 weeks. And Dad came into the sitting room one day, he was in the house, and he said, there's nobody going to the gym. I paid a lot of money for that, so I felt really bad. So I started going every day, and I've never stopped. Now going to the gym every day is not a positive thing. You know, it's a good, for me at the time I just felt bad for my dad paying this money, and suddenly I started going to the gym every day, and I was probably in a bad enough place at the time mentally, but I started losing weight. Instead of eating loads of crap, I said to myself, I hadn't a clue. I have 3 sisters, I'm the oldest son in the family, so I had no brothers to look up to or, you know, for advice or anything, so I was on my own. So I started eating a little bit better, and the weight just fell off me. And for the first time in my life, at 16, 17, you know, I started getting an interest from girls and stuff, you know, and stuff I didn't have before. So I was going to the gym every day, training flat out, hooked up with 1 or 2 good lads in the gym. The lads showed me how to train properly, 18, 19, 20. I started powerlifting when I was 20. And I realised I mightn't have been good at hurling, but I was good in the gym. I was very strong, and I was very, very determined. I suppose at the time I had developed this, I was leaner and I was a bit more confident in myself, and my mentality was in a good place. So 19, 20, I started doing powerlifting, and I was very good at it. I was winning. And suddenly I went from being this normal fella to winning something. And for me at the time it was a massive achievement. And looking back now, I was in a great old place mentally, you know. My early 20s then, someone said to me, James, you have a big back, you have big hands, you have red hair, you look ignorant. Try a bit of strongman. And that's the way I went. So down I went to a lad I knew to lift rocks and pull trucks, literally, in the back of an old yard somewhere down in Carrick-on-Shore. I'll never forget it, just me and him. But I was very good at it. Straight away I was really, really strong. Because at this stage I was training for 7 or 8 years in the gym, and suddenly I found something I was excelling at. My first competition was in 2007, and I came second up in Belfast, and everybody else in the field was taking steroids except me. I lost by 1 point, but I didn't realise at the time. After the competition, I was told like everyone was, you know, I was natural, I was clean. I was this young green chap from Kilkenny who came second in this big competition in Belfast. The following year, 2008, was my first big year in that sport, and I came 5th in Ireland's strongest man in 2008. And I said to myself, next year I'm going to win this, and I did. In 2009 I won my first competition. But also in 2009 I started taking steroids, which at the time, I suppose, I felt fine at the time. I was in a good place. My daughter was born as well in 2009, so 2008 I started taking steroids. 2009, 10, 11, 12, I was absolutely on fire. I was really, really doing well. Everybody knew me. Like Sean said earlier on, everyone claimed to know you, had his friends everywhere, but really I didn't have many friends. I had a small little selection of lads around me, but I was very good at what I was doing. But also I was, in a really bad place mentally, because, my biggest advice now to all these young lads coming through, don't ever take steroids. They're really, really bad for you. At the time, looking back, I was top of my game. I was on television. I was winning all around me. There was girls everywhere. I was living the dream, but I was a mess. There was many a night I sat in my gym. I opened my first gym in 2010. But I often sat in my gym in the dark, wondering, what the hell is going on here? My head was all over the place. It was all down to taking steroids, which really, 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 really are bad, in terms of what they do to you and your mentality. 2012 was the final year I knew I was in a bad place, and things were really bad at times, but I was still, for anyone looking in, things were really good for me. But 2012 I was in World's Strongest Man. I went over to America in World's Strongest Man, and I was absolutely rock bottom. My personal life was a mess. I had a beautiful young daughter, but I was totally gone. My head was absolutely gone. I was over in LA on worldwide television, but mentally I wasn't in a good place at all. I came home and I knew myself this wasn't good for me. I suppose in 2013 I was on the Late Late Show. They asked me to come to the Late Late Show to do some event up there, lifting a car on television. And I went up to the Late Late Show and we done that, and it was great crack, and backstage, the whole lot of Ryan Tuberty. It was really, really good, really good night. But driving home that night from the Late Late Show in 2013, I said to myself, that's it now, James, you're finished. And I was finished. I've been taking steroids since. And it was probably the best decision I ever made on a personal level, And ever since then, I suppose, things have greatly improved. I run a very successful business in Kenny. I train people, I train loads of men, I train loads of women. I have some great stories of successes, people losing weight. I preach now, myself. I know what it's like to come from a really dark place. Now I eat well, I train properly. I really enjoy doing that with my clients. So I really, things have moved on greatly, and I often look back and I often think, and as I said to you earlier on, now I'm the fella. I have loads of dads ringing me every day. Their son wants to start training, my son wants to do this. I had a girl come into the gym last week, my son wants to start taking creatine. What's your advice, James? My advice is eat wholesome, healthy food, surround yourself with positive people, have a good, tight selection of friends around you, and do things right that way. Introducing drugs or steroids or any kind of performance enhancements into your body is not good for you. And now I suppose where I am now, I'm 39 this year, I have a lovely business, I feel good, things are wonderful. My daughter is 13, I have another baby on the way in December, so things are really positive. I'm opening a new business in Kilkenny, fitness and glamping, and trying to promote healthy living that way, stuff I enjoy doing myself. So that's where it is now, and as the lad said earlier on, that's my advice to you guys. Get yourself checked, surround yourself with good people, eat well, get a bit active. You don't have to go run the road every day of the week. Just get into the gym a couple of times a week. Even if you don't go to the gym, get out and about. Do things and drink 2 litres of water a day. Simple little changes. They'll work wonders for you, guaranteed. Thanks.
Thanks very much, James, for your honesty. It's just amazing to hear how impactful steroids were on your life. You thought you were doing the right thing, making yourself maybe stronger and more competitive, to be at the top of your game in LA, and your world crumbling inside yourself, and to bounce back from that, put it behind you, and change your life around. I think it's a fantastic story, and it's interesting that you refer to the same things as Sean here about close friends and exercise and fresh air and the simple things in life. So thanks very much.